you know, we've had well over 100 people here tonight, and I think City Council has to hear that the citizens of Cleveland are watching and that we're expecting a different kind of participation than there may have been in the past. And I think your willingness to share your thoughts and your ideas tonight really sets a template for what council will need to do moving forward around important issues, and particularly around redistricting, which will occur again in after the 2010 census. And so I think what you've done tonight really is we've set a precedent that will be carried forward. So pat yourself on the back. And although you might feel a little bit discouraged, don't be discouraged. Feel proud that you've started the ball rolling in a direction that it hasn't been before. Okay? So I'd like to ask the discussion leaders to do just very quick report outs of the major themes, the major points from their groups. Ian's going to try to capture them, and if the same thing comes out of two different groups, that's fine. He's just going to put a tally mark, and we'll know that something that gets 3 or 4 tally marks is, you know, really the sense of the whole body. So let's try to be brief and concise. Yeah, use the center mic. And then also discussion leaders and recorders, you need to leave your papers, after you've reported, you need to leave your papers with us because we're going to need to transcribe and compile them. Okay? All right.
The group that was in the my right-hand corner reports that they want no divisions of residential neighborhoods, and they had very specific ideas about that in terms of history, topography, even past municipal boundaries within the area. We wanted actual population figures used and released publicly, and we wanted total transparency in the process. And then we wanted the decisions made without regard to the historic divisions between East and West Side. Decisions made without consideration of the historic divisions of East and West Side. And we wanted to have wanted the decisions to comply with the Federal Voting Rights Act.
Comply with the
Federal Voting Rights Act.
Federal Voting Rights Act.
Participation.
Minority participation. Okay, thank you very much. I think that was 5. Ian, did you get that? Okay. All right, Robin.
I was in the group back over here. Our issues were making sure that there is a consideration for strategic partnering in neighborhoods with similar focuses and needs. That there's no disruption of support by council people to existing groups because of the need to have to, am I going too fast? Sorry. Well, this will all be available.
Who can come help Ian record? Is there another easel? Where's Matt Lasko? Or Franny? All right, somebody, is there another easel? Somebody could help Matt or Ian record. I think it's faster than he can write. All right, yeah, that's all right. You can use that one, and then I'll turn back to that page when I need it. Okay, I'm sorry, Robin. Okay, would you repeat your second point?
Okay. That there's no disruption of support by council people for existing groups that receive funding because of the need to have to reform relationships. I put an asterisk next to the ones that
were important, that were people are, okay.
The elimination of wards should reflect location and population loss, which was something that was already discussed. That vibrancy in neighborhoods and neighborhood involvement be considered in the redistricting plans. And the last one was something that you already mentioned, and that is that this whole process of more openness be and more transparency be done when the redistricting is done in the future.
Okay, so transparency, currently and future, we've heard twice now. Sarah Hawkins from Ward 17. Thank you, Robin. Sarah?
I think the main hope for our group was practicality over politics and preserving the neighborhoods, an affinity for common concerns and characteristics.
Speak into the mic, Sarah.
Our group was concerned about having more press, letting people know, and the different people in the community, seniors, non-English speaking.
Letting people know what was going on.
And concerns were what and how are the boundaries going to be divided, who is going to be dividing, and how. And one was, diluting people's voices.
There's a concern about, with the smaller number of wards, that
Correct.
people's voices may be diluted. Okay.
And do you want to talk about number 2?
Do you have the criteria? Yeah, are we talking? Yeah.
The big ones were natural boundaries and preserving the CDCs within the neighborhoods.
Okay, or within a ward.
Thank you, yes.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you, Sarah. Mark DiDonato?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. The hopes of our group, the first hope was to keep neighborhoods intact, united, and together. An example that kept coming up was Ohio City. It's divided, bring it back together. The second hope for our group was to use natural features or large infrastructure, such as the river or bridges, to be district boundaries. Do not create these little tails and these little, one street here, one street there. And the third hope was to make a more transparent and effective city government by improving the quality of representatives in council.
Well, I guess that would be up to us, the voters, wouldn't
I'm just speaking on behalf of the group.
it? All right, you all need to remember that when it's time to vote in September and November.
That's it.
All right, Mark, did you have other major consensus points? Mark? Woo-hoo.
Representatives, hello, sorry. Okay, our concerns. We're repeating practices that we call traditional, but they're non-functioning, or they don't function very well, but we continue to do them because they're traditional. And our other concern, we're dividing neighborhoods and breaking up stable areas. And our third concern was that the time frame is too quick, and we're going to rush through this process, and then we're going to have to redo the whole thing in 4 years.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you have criteria?
Yeah, our criteria. This process needs to include input from the public and from the CDCs, and that there needs to be public disclosure of the community's wishes. And that's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Mark DiDonato. Who else is ready? Donna Brooke from Stockyard? Thank you, Mark.
Okay, be prepared to do those tally marks because you're going to hear a lot of the same things again.
It's fine. Just say them real quickly and then he'll just tally it. Good.
Got it. First and foremost, keep the neighborhoods together. A lot of people in this room in particular have worked hard at keeping these things together, and now would be a really bad time to divide us apart. The opportunity to review the data, public content, comment, transparency. Enough of this behind closed doors. This is a phrase you're going to hear me say a couple of times. Fran actually came up with it, and it's perfect. Community interests take precedence over political interests. And we're not as nice as the gentleman who's just before me, Mark. We just say, let's correct the mistakes that were made in the past, and basically, I would like to show Exhibit A. These boundaries look like a child drew them. Okay, concerns. Other parts of the city.
We love children.
Other parts of the city are not concerns. Other parts of the city are not getting the opportunity that we are getting here tonight, and we do thank our councilman for that. We are concerned that we are not getting all the info, that it's, few people are making the decisions for all of us. And again, the people who made the old mistakes are making the rules now. That's kind of what we're afraid of there. Criteria, we would like them to use technology, any possible avenue from the grassroots all the way up to billboards if we have to get this information out. Everybody in this city needs to know what's going on. Local media, and again, thank you to those who showed up today. Local media needs to jump in. Plain dealer, TV stations, everything. Last but not least, we repeat we had a catchphrase. Everybody should have a catchphrase. And again, community interests over political interests.
Okay, thank you very much. Good report. Jenny and Edwin, who's doing your